There we go. All right. Microphone check. Y'all know what time it is. You locked in with Pantha Politix Podcast. I'm your host, Seven Da Pantha, aka the Carolina Hurricane with ridiculous slang, aka your baby mama's favorite rapper, aka a bunch of other things you probably should not call me to my face. And today, like we always do, we always bring you the best in independent hip hop, R&B, local politics, whatever the case may be. And we grace today with the presence of one of, in my personal opinion, one of the GOATs, one of the greatest of all time, Supastition, North Carolina's very own. How you doing today, bro?
Appreciate that, man. I'm doing well, bro. I appreciate you having me, man.
Oh, no doubt, man. It's been a long time in the making. Ever since I started this podcast, I was like, one day I'm gonna get Super on here. I just had to wait for the right time. And I was like, he's dropping new music. Let me holler at him and see if he want to politic a little bit.
I applaud y'all podcast niggas. Y'all, that's a commitment.
Man, bro.
I'm days I don't feel like doing shit. There ain't no way I can run a podcast, man.
Man, it's interviews that's in the can right now that nobody will ever hear. I promise you that. Like the funny thing is I interviewed a really young guy. He's probably like 24, 25 years old. And I met him at a show one night. And he was like, hey, man, I want to come on the pod. I was like, okay, whatever, let's do it. He came on. I swear to God, the interview was 24 minutes. And like 22 of those 24 minutes was me talking. He had nothing to say. So I was like, oh, God.
They don't know how to communicate, man. He would rather text the interview to you, man. They got no social skills, man.
Exactly. But before I go any further, congratulations on the new project.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. I'm just happy to finally be putting some new music out, man. You know what I mean? I was trying to put everything in like chronological order. I'm like, yeah, I could do this project first and then this one and this one. But the one project was like holding everything back. I was like, look, I'm gonna have to push that one down and knock out these others. I got like 2-3 projects that's just been sitting or whatever. So
oh man. Well, I know speaking for myself and all other Supastition fans, we are looking forward to hearing them. I got lost and forgot what I did with my I think I can remember all of it. I usually look at my notes sometimes if I forget stuff, but you know me, I smoke too much. But I think I got this. So for the people who are listening, because there's a big cross section of our listenership who's not familiar with you already, at least not to an extreme degree. So we're gonna take it back just a little bit, and then we'll bring it up to now. So for those who don't know, like where you from, what kind of got you into hip hop, and what was the evolution of your name? Like I know that's like a loaded question.
Yeah. So you know, I'm originally from Greenville, North Carolina. I'm from Eastern North Carolina. I think most people, when they think of North Carolina, they typically think Raleigh, Charlotte, other places like that. Only people I know that's originally from my area, Petey Pablo and Rhapsody.
I mean, you know.
Yeah, Petey Pablo's from the same city. Well, I know he lived in Greenville for a while. Yeah, I got into music like, you know, way back. I was like 9 years old. Me and my cousin started doing it as a joke, and you know, I just kind of stuck with it or whatever, man. The name Supastition, because you know, so you know me personally, so you know I had 100 different rap names, right?
No doubt.
It's like the cool ones. We had all the cool rap names, but we never got deals. We never got attention and shit like that. So, prior to me being Supastition, I was Black MEL, and we had the same producer, Eric Hood. So that's back in the day, I think my name back then was called Smooth, because it's like a family nickname. So my family always called me Caught. And so me and Hood did a song called Supastition. And I was in the song talking about, you know, it's funny because I was saying I don't believe in superstition, blah, 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 this and that. But I love that song so much that, you know, when I got into like a record deal as blackmail, I ended up giving up all my rights or whatever. So I was like, shit, I got to start over. And Supastition came from the name. You know, some people are superstitious, some people aren't. Some people believe you can do it. Some people believe you can, you know what I'm saying? And back then, being from North Carolina, nobody thought you could be a North Carolina rapper. That shit just seemed far-fetched, you know what I mean?
Facts. Big facts. That's real shit. Oh man. Okay. So as far as now, you got into the music really young, and I know that's something that we talked about a lot over years, but who were like some of your initial influences to MCing, and like are those same people, if people were to hear you now, would they still hear those people in your style when they hear you?
Definitely. I always call it the 3 R's: Rakim, Run DMC, and Redman. You know, Rakim. I always learned the voice from Rakim as far, and then you know, just being able to do like multi-syllabic shit or whatever, man. Redman was just, I like Redman because he was hardcore, but he was funny and witty. And shit. He also made beats, and Run DMC to me were the first rappers that made it look cool, right? Because I listened to hip hop before Run DMC, and I'm gonna be honest, like the Grandmaster Flashes and Melly Mel, that didn't look cool to me. You know, like
not at all.
I knew the songs because my mom, my aunts and uncles played it, but when I saw the records, they looked like disco niggas.
Right.
And I wasn't with that. So when I saw Run DMC, they looked like my cousins or the street dudes that my cousins hung around or whatever. So that's why I really gravitated towards it. You know, those are some of my biggest influences. Master Ace. A lot of people say we sound similar or whatever. I think we got a similar vocal tone.
Yeah.
Slick Rick. I learned how to tell stories from Slick Rick and Coogee Rap.
Yes.
Big Daddy Kane. It's, you know, just that whole era. I mean, there's people that influenced me after that, but those were the early years that, you know, I was copying all of their styles until I could figure out my own. So,
I mean, I think we all did that. Like that's kind of how you get the blueprint. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And people don't realize too, when you end up like memorizing, like if you memorize like a Rakim verse. I remember the day I memorized Microphone Fiend from beginning to end. You could tell me shit, right? But what I didn't realize it taught me where to breathe. So even if you see somebody doing karaoke, they may know all the words, but they sound like they're struggling because they don't know where to breathe in those. So like when I started rapping, I think that's kind of what made me sound better than other people because I knew exactly where to pause and where to breathe and all that. While other people just like, they just try to get it all out without breathing and shit.
And they get to the end of the line and be like,
exactly.
Oh, exactly. Bro. Oh man, I feel it. Now you actually have, and it's something I've always been impressed with. You rap fairly fast, and but you have asthma. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
And I remember one night we were doing a show. I can't remember where we were. You were doing. We were in Columbia, South Carolina.
Yeah.
You were doing Crown Me.
New Brooklyn Tavern.
Oh yeah, and New Brooklyn Tavern. Yeah,
yep,
you was doing Crown Me, and you was like, "Hey, bro." Kicking my ass. I was like, has that been
crazy
like a constant thing, like throughout, like ever since then? Like, has it? How bad has it been since? I know you made a lot of changes to your dietary stuff and everything. Like, how much of an issue has it been since back then?
Since back then, probably not as much. More than anything, it's probably, you know, getting older and gaining weight and stuff like that too. That affects like your breathing. But ironically, asthma never really affected me as much rapping, because like I said, you know where to breathe. You know what I'm saying? Now on a daily, like, you know, exercising or shit like that, I probably get more tired from talking than I do from rapping. You know what I'm saying? Which is crazy. But yeah, asthma hadn't really affected me too much or whatever, man. Other than like post-COVID, that's when the shit really, really fucked me up or whatever, man. So, but other than that, I haven't had too many issues with the asthma shit like that. You know, I still got like an inhaler and shit, but as far as performing, it doesn't really affect me like that. Most of it, that shit is probably me gaining weight, or, you know, feeling like an old ass man right now. So.
It depends. Like the pandemic, was it rough? Like I know, like for a lot of people, especially creatives, it was really hard during that time. We couldn't get out. We couldn't really politic with the people that we make that we put the art out there for. Like, how rough was it? And for you being who you are, you know what I'm saying? Like to go through that whole period where it's like I can't go out and do shit. Like I just got to stay right here and chill.
Nigga, you know me. That shit don't bother me at all. I don't. You know me. I've never been a people person. You know, we've done shows together, right? And I'll rock a show and I'd be like, yo, man, I'm out. Like I'm always an introverted person. And I guess people assume like I was arrogant or some diva shit, but it's like, dog, like I've been an only child my entire life. Like I love being by myself. So when the pandemic hit, I had friends was panicking. I'm like, nigga, I don't go nowhere. Like I go to work, I go out with the fam. The fam got to drag me out the house sometimes. I be in here like creating shit or just in my own world or whatever, man. It's like, it didn't really affect me like that. And I had already decided I wasn't going to do a lot of shows. So it didn't affect me as much as some others. And plus I work a 9-to-5 job. My job is essential. So throughout the pandemic, I never stopped working. Like I was constantly working every day or whatever. So when cash was getting laid laid off or they couldn't go into work, my job was like, take your computer home. You'll be all right. So.
No doubt. That's dope, man. That's crazy. And yeah, you really had. I was telling somebody a story the other day, and I was like, the funny thing is, like okay, this might take a second. Give me just a second. So I was like, how you hear people rap, and when you hear them rap and you know that they love hip hop, you assume certain things about them and how they carry themselves outside of being on the stage. I said, dog, let me tell you something. Superstition loves hip hop to his core, but we would get off the stage. I would be outside in the parking lot freestyling with niggas for an hour, and he'll be like, "Man, I'll see you at the hotel."
Yo, I remember being out in I was in Toronto, and they had a hip hop festival, and I mean this shit was all day long from like damn near 8 a.m. to like 10 p.m. at night. I was out there for like an hour and a half. I was like, yo, this is too much hip hop for me. I'm just a regular dude, man. Like, I appreciate, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I was like 15 to 20, I could be out breakdancing, DJing, and I still love all that. But being out, like, dog, I probably got like 3 hours of hip hop in me, and then it's like, I got some shit to do, dog. Like,
3 hours, and I'm out of here.
And people when they think I'm just like, I live and die hip hop. At one point, yes, I did before I had responsibilities and children. I would much rather spend time with my family and with my kids and just doing other things outside of hip hop, because I feel like you gotta live. For me, like the stuff I write about kind of real life stuff. So I gotta be out and experiencing things or whatever. I'm not just in here just writing bars and bars and bars. Sometimes you feel like you're writing the same song over and over if you don't have any substance to it.
I feel that. I feel that all over the line. Yeah, I literally just scrapped half a whole project. It's like, dog, I feel like I said this before. Just throw it away. I'll start over. Don't worry about it. I'll start over. Right. So now, this is something that I've always, and I say the same thing to ethemadassassin. The way you choose beats has always been like wild to me, because it was a point in time where if a person turns something on and it's got drums, I'll rap to it. Cool, let's go. Right. But you was like, yo, you always had a very selective ear with beats. But the one thing I never asked you was exactly what is it about a beat that speaks, and especially now that you're producing more heavily, what is it exactly about a beat that speaks to you to make you say, yeah, that's the one?
It has to have a mood and a melody to it. And when I hear it, I've got to picture exactly what I want to write to it or whatever. A lot of times, like cats will play just some stiff ass boom bap drums and some orchestra chops. I'm like, nigga, I mean, I could rap to it, but I don't think I can make a memorable song to certain ones. And I think, and believe it or not, a lot of that comes from me listening to a lot of R&B and soul music, because when you listen to R&B and soul music, you automatically get a feeling. Like there's really no soul song that you listen to that you don't get a feeling. That shit either makes you want to cry, makes you want to dance, makes you think about some shit, it makes you want to fight. Like, you know what I'm saying? Hip hop a lot of times is just straight nod your head shit. And as an MC, I can rap to it, but I can't do an entire album to that. It has to have some melody to it, some mood to it. First thing I listen for is drums. The drums got to be knocking. I don't know how these cats be rapping with no drums. That shit is. Salute to y'all, but that shit, it could be rapping over interludes. Like, for me, I gotta have drums. If you sampling, it's got to be a dope sample chop, bass lines and all that. Like, it's got to be, and your bass lines got to be in key. Like, I'm not a trained musician, but I can hear if some shit is really out of key or whatever. And there's no reason in 2023 why your shit should be out of key. I mean, we got all type of key finders and stuff like that, all type of software or whatever, Or if it's gonna be out of key, it's got to be like RZA Wu-Tang, 36 chambers off key. Like, you know what I'm saying?
On purpose, like, but it makes sense in the context of the music. Yeah, exactly.
Like even in like Crown Me, we was talking about that when Equinox made the beat. There's like one piece in there that was really off key, like, but I liked it because it was like some RZA shit or whatever. And I remember when I was playing a song for somebody, they're like, yo, I love it, but this shit is like really off key. I'm like, hey, it's fine, man. If it's rugged like that, I can hear it, man. So
No doubt. Oh man, that's crazy. Yeah, your ear for beats is crazy. And then and over the course of your career, some of my personal favorite underground producers that I've heard, I found through them working with you.
Right.
Um, you know, be it I know Marco Polo is a pretty big name in the underground now,
Yeah.
but I first heard of him working with you. M
Right.
Phases, Ill Mind. You introduced me to Ill Mind at Beat Society in Philly. So like
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah.
that's
I
been a
always look for potential. I think when a lot of cats were looking for big names, I was listening for potential people who could possibly be big one day. You know what I'm saying? Like the first time I heard M Phases and Illmind, I heard them around the same time. I think I heard Croup around the same time. A lot of producers that I ended up working with, you know, they were working with because Beat Society back then was a website. And so they
indeed.
had all these producers up here. And I would go through and listen to every beat, every beat. And whoever was dope, I would just kind of write it down and remember their name. Marco Polo, I met Marco Polo. I feel like I met Marco through Pumpkinhead. And I first heard his beats and I was like, dude's really got a lot of potential. And it's just certain cats that I hear early on, like Apollo Brown as well too. I worked with him very early on before he was really known and stuff like that. So I just trying to, you know, keep my ear to what's dope out there. Like I said, a lot of cats just be looking for projects and they want big names and things like that. For me, I'm like, look, who's dope? Like whose music can you grow with? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That's always been a dope thing too. Because I mean, it's you've been in positions to work with XYZ person, but if it doesn't make sense, you always like, I mean, yeah, it's cool. It sounds good, but it just don't make
Right.
sense, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
there's a lot of younger artists that listen to the podcast. You know, I politic with a lot of them because they, for whatever reason, they're like, I think you might have an answer. And I'm like, actually, I don't, but I might know somebody who does. So um, if there was like I mean, I don't want to go too crazy into the label situations that you went. I mean, if you want to touch on it a little, but like maybe
Yeah.
just to give people some insight into how things can go sideways despite how they may view the music business and what we thought it was before we jumped
Right.
into it.
Right.
Like I said, case in point, your very first deal,
Mm-hmm.
that was strange.
Yeah, yeah. That was desperation. That's what it was.
No doubt.
Like, you know, I took the first deal. This was way back. It was like Low Key Records, man. This is I was in a whole crew with, you know, I was in a crew grassroots organization. And at that time, we had a bunch of rappers, couple producers. We were all trying to get signed. Back then, it was just about getting signed. And then there was a label from New York. It was from Queens, New York. And to us, you know what I mean? Being from the South, we think New York record label, this is it. So,
No doubt.
and in my head, I'm like, I don't care how bad this deal is. I could get in there, do my thing, and put my whole team on or whatever. So what happened was I jumped in, I got the contract. I ended up taking it back to Greenville, North Carolina. Back then was no entertainment lawyers in Greenville. So there was like a sports entertainment lawyer. So I ended up going to him. I paid him a couple $100. He looked the contract over like 15 minutes. He was like, it's standard. It's okay. And I didn't know anything about it. So sure enough, I signed it. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like somebody with bad credit or no credit trying to buy a car, but you don't know anything. You got to take what you can get. So I signed that deal, that first deal. There was no advance whatsoever. I think it was like a 5-album deal. They owned my name, my likeness, all my music. And dude, like, so they could pretty much do whatever they wanted to do to me. So I ended up recording a few songs, but at that time, this is like, you know, I think maybe Outkast, but there weren't a lot of rappers from the South out. So me being from North Carolina, it was weird to them. They was just like, you know, you should be making music similar to the South because you're a Southern artist. They didn't believe like a North Carolina artist could rap the way that we do or whatever. And they tried to stick me in a group. I think you might remember this. They tried to stick me in a group with some other label mates, and I think it was called the Low Key All Stars. And I was like, what the fuck is it? So they put me on one song, and I got on the song and dissed everybody on the song. So,
oh my God.
I was young, man. I didn't care, man. And so I was like, yo, I got to get out of this deal. And it took, man, I think it took like 3 or 4 years. I was just my album got shelved. I worked with some New York producers at that time. I ended up coming back home, and that was like nothing I could do. I remember talking to like a real lawyer, and he was like, you can't release any music as blackmail. Like, they own everything. So either you could just wait out this contract, or the most you could do is try to record under another name. And when he said that, I was like, all right, let me figure this out. But yeah, that first contract, man, I think a lot of people sign these things out of desperation because they feel like they want that validation. And there's been times where I've advised younger artists to not sign contracts. I've broken it down. I've looked at the contract, read it, explained to them exactly what's wrong with it. And then 2 months later, they make an announcement. They signed to this label. And then like a year later, they come back to me and they're like, yo, man, like, what do I do? So
you should have did what I told you the first time and not signed. That's what you
exactly.
Oh,
I died for your sins. Like,
you feel me? Oh my goodness. Okay, so you've done some features with some, like, as a matter of fact, there's a whole playlist for y'all that don't know. There's a whole playlist on Spotify of Supastition's favorite features that he's done.
yes, called
and outside, yeah, no doubt. And even outside of that, there's still a whole gang more of them outside of even those. So you've had the opportunity to work with some really, really talented people. Right. Some of the people you worked with are people that I'm like, oh my God. Like, I remember when you hit me, it was like, yo, I'm about to do a song with Royce. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Are you serious?
Yeah. It was like, crazy.
No. So I mean, like, out of all of that, all of those times, like, what are the ones that stand out to you the most? That are probably like the ones that maybe when after you did it, you was like, yo, that's crazy. Not even necessarily that it's your favorite, but just like, yo, that's crazy. Okay, yeah, that was real dope right there.
Yeah,
because I know I got favorite songs that I've been on. So
yeah. So for me, for one, was a wake up show anthem.
Yes.
I did the wake up show anthem because I was working with some cats on the West Coast, and they took me up to the wake up show, and I ended up like freestyling for King Tech, and he was super impressed. So he asked me to do an intro for the wake up show, like a radio intro, and I did that, and Revolution was scratching on it. And then he followed that up and he said, hey, I'm doing a wake up show anthem, right? So in my head, I'm thinking radio intro. So I gave him a verse, shouted out the wake up show. And then I hear back from him. He's like, yo, I got Crooked Eye on this joint. I got Be Real from Cypress Hill. I got Locksmith. Shit, man. Who else was on that? Tajay from Souls of Mischief. Jazzy Jeff was on it. To me, that was a big thing, man. Like, it was, to me, it meant a lot. But I remember announcing it, and it's like nobody gave a fuck. I was just like, yo. For me, that was a major accomplishment. KRS-One was, the joint I did with KRS-One. That's a big moment for me because, we came up on KRS-One. I've had a chance to work with Master Ace. The song hadn't come out yet, but I've had a chance to do something with him. Royce, Elzai, Little Brother. Man, it's a lot of cats, man. Sometimes that's why I created that the guest list joint, because sometimes I forget all of the people that I've worked with. It's just blessed, man. I did an entire album with Knots Raw. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
goodness gracious. Oh man.
I just stay working, man. A lot of these joints, even if they never come out, a lot of times to me, it was like training. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks.
It's like, if you're an NBA player, something like that, like in the summertime, you might train with some of the best, but then you go back to doing what you do. So like after working with like Knots and different producers like that, Jake One, you go in and you approach your projects different, even when you're choosing beats, now when you're making songs. So it all, it's all inspiration for me. At the end of the day, I think I always tell people, like, I'm one of them cats that I'm recognized, but I don't think I'm celebrated. But I think in the end, when it's all said and done, I think people will really look back on the catalog and be like, wow, he really did some shit. So,
what's crazy, you said that was actually going to be, I think I had that down as my last question. Like, what do you want the legacy to be? Like, because at some point, we got to stop doing this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
I was telling somebody that the other day. I was like, yo, the podcast, I got to have this. Like, I still act because I have to have that, because I have to have a creative outlet, but I can't do this forever. So,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm in my old man Logan years, like Wolverine and shit. I'm you know what I'm saying?
So I mean, like the motivation to put music out now is different than it was when we were kids. You know what I'm saying? Now we're gonna get to the new project in just a second. I promise you, y'all. So that's producers, features. Now, out of your own personal catalog, is there a particular album where you felt like the tide turned, and kind of shifted your career from where you might have felt like it was linear here, and then there's one project that kind of was like, nah, move it over here. Like, this is where you need to be, right here. If there was one project that did that, which one do you think it was?
Probably The Deadline, because 7 Years of Bad Luck, there was so much shit that went on with that album.
No doubt.
I was just like, and plus that album was a bunch of demos. Like, it was recorded 6 different times over, you know what I mean? Like, over different beats and stuff like that. I look at that as the retail version. But then The Deadline was like, 2004 when it came out. And this was the first time I had actually recorded a project to be released. Everything prior to that, I was recording and we didn't know. I would record songs and make copies for you, for Equinox, E-Hood, and we would all bump music before it even came out. So we had no idea. So The Deadline was the first time where I knew somebody would be listening. So I approached it different. I was real, like, critical of production, subject matter and stuff like that. So that's when things started to change. And then when Chain Letters hit in 2005, like, even though it didn't sell like a ton of copies, that album was influential. A lot of people know about that album. Even to this day, I'm meeting people and they're just like, yo, man, I remember Chain Letters, and they still play it. And that's when everything changed for me.
The funniest thing in the world is you said that. I was at a show in Seattle. I was rapping. I just came off the stage and dude said, Seven Da Pantha. He said, if you sound like this guy. you sound like this guy. I heard the song with Supastition. I was like, I do? You should introduce me to him. That's kind of cool. Right. Like, I think it's great that I sound like
that's funny. Yeah, it's crazy because cats be hitting me and they be like, yo, Seven Da Pantha? I'm like, do I know Seven Da Pantha? Like, I almost feel offended. Like, nigga, I knew Homicide, Apocalypse to Mind Bender. Nigga, like, I knew this nigga way before y'all, man. Like, it's crazy, man. Like, they be the cats be trying to put me on to people that I know personally and shit, man.
Hey, bro, this dude named Seven Da Pantha, man. You got to hear him, bro. I'm trying to tell
you. Sound like somebody you might work with. It's crazy, man.
I totally hear y'all on a song together. Oh, you really? I can show you a couple of examples of that. Like,
for real.
Man. Before we go on, you brought his name up, and I just want to say real quick, I did dedicate my most recent project, my most recent release, Invalid Emotions, to him. But rest in peace, E-Hood. Rest in peace, Frugal Eddie Dove. Hip hop, we losing a lot of people, yo. Like, this is a consequence of getting older, though. Like, people around you start to disappear, and at some point we're going to be that person that disappears. So we just have to kind of find peace in that. You know what I mean? Shit.
Yeah, that's sweet. I think that shit was that losing E-Hood, and prior to E-Hood, I had lost like a couple of homeboys kind of within the last 2 or 3 years. It almost felt like my social media was like a digital obituary, man. I'm just like, it's crazy because when like a homie passes, it tells you, look, you don't have much time as you think. You need to be inspired, but it also sends you to like into a depression of like, nigga, like, why? You know what I'm saying? Like with E-Hood, when he passed, I felt like we knew who he was, but I don't think the world knew how talented that dude was, or how just a great person E-Hood was, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, but I look at every day like, look, man, if I was to pass away tomorrow, would I be satisfied with everything that I put out? Or, that it kind of shows me not to sit on music. Because, like the last 2-3 years, I've just been kind of sitting on music and recording. Then I was like, well, what happens? If I'm gone tomorrow, will it end here? Because I'm damn sure not expecting my wife to put together an album. Like, that'd be crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I love her to death, but she's not putting together an album. Like, that shit is just going to be done. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm just like, drop as much music as you can before, you ride off into the sunset or until it's over. You know what I mean? I'm not going to rap forever. There's no way I thought I would be rapping at this age, man.
Bruh, I think about that. I woke up on my birthday. The day, no, actually, on the day after my birthday. I was like, I'm 48 years old, dog. Like
Yeah.
for real, 48 years old.
Yep.
And I think I had a conversation with somebody recently, and they asked me the context of the conversation was kind of like, how you 48 years old and still trying to get on? And I was like, bro, you got it fucked up. That ain't even what this is about no more. I'm doing this because I want to. Like anybody in our age group that you see still doing this, it's not about getting on and getting rich. At this point, we've passed all of that. And now it's just about a love for the culture and a love for what we do. So,
people don't understand their levels in between that. Like to the average person, you're either Jay-Z or you're nothing. You're trying to get on. Like there are levels in between that. Like I'm not the 40-year-old rapper that's still trying to get on. Like I'm the rapper who has fans, and I only want to cater to those fans. You know what I'm saying? If I could put out an album and make a cool $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, why would I not put it out? Should I not put it out because I'm not going to make $1 million? Like I don't need $1 million. And plus I have a decent job. Like I don't live off of music, but it's like I have a certain talent. And what do I do with this talent?
Exactly.
Like it may not look cool to a lot of people, but I still have the talent. Hip hop is the only culture I know that them niggas will try to get you out of here. Like we're not sports players. Like we're not supposed to be done at 35. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Like I can literally sit here and make a rap. You know what I'm saying? And I've got more things to talk about. When you're 20, you're just making up shit, man. Like as a 20-year-old, you ain't got that many problems. Like at 20, I thought I did, but I didn't know. I ain't had that many problems or whatever. So, I got some real life shit to rap about and some game. You know what I mean? So
no doubt. And when I listen back, and I revisit your catalog fairly regularly, simply because I like to hear you in phases of your career and where you were at those times and watch the progression. Now, before we jump into the new project, I want to talk about Gold Standard, because when that project came out, it had been kind of quiet for me, and then you was like, "Yo, it's coming." And then when it came, and the first thing I heard was the joint that Praise produced, the very first song, and I was like, "Yo, super on one." And as the album kept going, I was like, "Nah, he really like found the pocket and hopped in that motherfucker." And was like, "I'm not coming out of here until I'm ready." Like what going into making Gold Standard, was there a particular focus of, okay, it's been quiet for a minute, I really need to put my foot in this motherfucker and make sure they know, hey, I'm still me.
Yeah. So for Gold Standard was the first album, but it was one of the few albums where I mainly had one producer. The Praise didn't do the entire album, but he did the bulk of the album. And it's like when you find, it's almost like when Nas found Hit Boy, right?
No doubt.
Like Nas had been making projects. Then I heard Praise's production, and I'm like, to me, I haven't been this inspired to write since I was working with M Phases and Illmind and all those guys. And he would send me, a gang of beats, and I'm like, yo, I want to record a song to all of these joints. And so I started working on Gold Standard. Then I got a call from Blueprint, and Blueprint was like, yo, you want to go with me on this U.S. tour? And for me, that was my first official U.S. tour. And it was like 60 cities in like 3 months. And so I'm like, I want to have something to sell at these shows. And I want to have something that's reflective of my stage show. So it has to be an energetic album. It has to be hard hitting. So that was really my inspiration. I knew I was about to go on the road. And anytime you're doing 60 shows, like, you've got to kill it every night. I went on tour, sold out of the CDs, reordered them, got them back, sold more, and then towards the end of the tour, I was out of CDs again. So it was nothing better than that, man. I was in my bag for that album, man. I had a reason to, and I knew when I came back, like I wanted to, put my wife in school and stuff like that too, because she needs a career. Because a lot of times with rap wives, they just kind of follow our lead or whatever. A lot of times they don't get to travel with us and do all these things. So I had a big plan, man, when I did Gold Standard, man, and it turned out really dope. It's one of my favorite projects to this day. It didn't get the hype as Chain Letters because it didn't come out on a quote unquote label, but I think song for song, that shit is just as good as Chain Letters to me, man.
I agree. Gold Standard is definitely high on my Supastition list. It's either 2 or 3. I'm not sure right now. Yeah. So let's get into the new project. The new. Okay, so you're dropping the project. This is coming out tomorrow. So tomorrow is Monday, so it's dropping Tuesday, right?
Right, correct.
Okay, Tuesday. Okay, so the album name is Every Last Word?
Yeah, Every Last Word. So it's a series. So it's actually supposed to be one album, but I decided to break it up into 2. So it's a 2-part series. The first part is I'll break it down kind of how the 2 projects will be. The first project is like when you're going through things and I'm writing in the moment as shit happens. A lot of times you're angry about shit, you're mad, you're sad, like you don't know what the fuck is going on. You just need to get it off your chest. That's Every Last Word. And then the second one will be kind of looking at those same issues in hindsight. Like, all right, I had a little bit more time to marinate on it. So the first one is going to be a little angry. You know what I'm saying? The second one will be a little bit more introspective. Like, all right, I had some time to think about it. Maybe I shouldn't have said some of the shit that I said, but that's why I tell people, like, it'll balance out. So when you hear it, don't be like, oh shit, like this is going in, like, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I wrote it during the time, this was a little bit after the pandemic. Like prior to the pandemic, my wife had cancer and she had went through what she went through. So I'm like, all right, we out of that, let's go, time to record. And then the pandemic hits or whatever. And then I get COVID, I get long COVID. And I have, basically I can't rap. I can't do anything for like 7 months. Like I couldn't hardly walk a flight of stairs, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? End up gaining weight, had to take all these different medications and shit. Then finally, like I don't know if you remember on Instagram, there was a video of me freestyling. To me, that was one of the happiest days of my life because that's the first time that I could rap without feeling like I was about to pass out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? And people were excited about it, but I'm like, little do they know, like it took me to rap 8 bars. I didn't ever think I could do that shit again, bro. Man. Like with that shit, I had, I had some heart scarring. I had lung damage from it. Like I was fucked up. I was fucked up in the game. So,
damn, bro.
So all I could do during this time was just write and make beats. I think that's when I became a lot better at making beats because I couldn't write. I produced the album for my homie Bamboo the Asiatic because I couldn't rap. I had all these beats. I couldn't do anything with them. You know what I'm saying? So Bamboo was like, yo, I'll record and put something out to him or whatever. And that's all I had. So when I finally came out of, just some of the health issues and I was able to rap again, I was kind of recharged. And I'm like, all right, well, let's start working on this shit, man. But it was weird, man, because it's, when this music industry shit it's always been kind of weird, but there are certain people that like you don't hear from these people until you do music. You know what I'm saying? Like you can know it's like if you drop a new song, somebody's gonna hit you like, yo, what's good? But then like when shit's like down for you or you're quiet, you don't hear from certain motherfuckers. It's just like, this shit is just weird to me. So when I came back to doing music, I remember after, I walked away from music in like 2008, 2009 for a couple of years. I remember when I came back, I was like, yo, the people that I fuck with are the people that I fuck with. I'm not going to be persuaded. I don't go to no industry parties and things like that. I'm just a real dude about shit, man. So that was my inspiration really for writing Every Last Word. And it's like, look, I'm saying everything and I mean every last word of it or whatever. So
that's dope, man. And that's shit, man. Okay. Do you gotta
it's a lot, man. It's a lot. It's only 6 songs, but you know what I'm saying? The next one will be between 6 to 8 songs or whatever too. But yeah, it'll balance out. The covers and everything coordinate, the production, the sound of it, it all makes sense. So the second one be a little bit more not uplifting, but upbeat. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to
No
save the
doubt.
world or no shit. You know,
That
just
damn
trying to
fuck
save
up.
myself.
Yeah, bruh, hey, a lot of us had to learn that along the course. You can't save the world, brother. You better you better worry about saving you. So who did production
bro.
on the project is about to drop?
I did every joint in that joint, man. Like, cause I was pretty much excuse me, I was pretty much to myself, man. I hadn't talked to a lot of people and things like that. I mean, every now and then I would speak to people, but other than that, I was kind of just in my shell, man. I'm just like, cause you know, like I was still trying to recover from COVID, and cats would hit me like, "Yo, let's go hang out." I'm like, I can't hang out.
Can't do it.
Like, dog, I could barely walk, like without getting tired or whatever. So I was just sitting, you know, and I felt like I needed to do this first project by myself because it was just me and my own thoughts, battling my own demons. You know what I'm saying? Like I talked about that on IG. It was like some days I felt like, yo, I may never rap again. Then some days I would write some shit and I feel like, man, these niggas better give me my respect. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
And then the next day I could be angry. It was just so many different things, man. It's almost like a sports player when they get injured and they're out for like a season or, you know what I'm saying, or 2 seasons or whatever. It's just like, dog, like I know I still got it. I just want to show the world that, you know, but I'm like, when I get the chance to show the world, that's what I'm going to do. And so I produce every single joint up there, man. I got a gang of beats and, you know, and it's easier, man. Like it's easier to do a project on my own, but it's also harder. It's harder because I got to do more work.
Right.
You know, I got to write, record, mix, produce, sometimes do the artwork, update websites and all that shit. It's hard that way, but I get it done. Versus like, even like you look at the project like with Speaker Bullies, I've been working on that project for like 6 years.
Jesus.
But there are like 4 people involved in it. So even if I do what I'm supposed to do, you still have to wait on other people to get shit done or whatever. And it's just like, what can you do? I can only control my solo shit. I had somebody send me a message today on IG. He's like, man, you've been promoting this album and what happened to it? Now you're working on your solo shit. I'm just like, dog, you mad about some shit you ain't paid for yet, dog. So, but yeah, the solo shit, man, solo projects are easier to release. They're more work, but I don't got to answer to nobody. Like every last word, I don't even think my manager heard it until I was done. I didn't ask nobody shit. I went in and wrote what I wanted, recorded what I wanted, rapped to the beats I wanted, got it mixed, and was like, all right, this is what I'm putting out. You know what I mean?
I'm pretty sure Sav did not have a problem with that. Like,
no, I mean, Sav would make little jokes and shit. Oh, you putting out this little secret album I ain't even heard yet. You know?
Oh man, do you have a joint on the album that I don't want to call your favorite, but like one that speaks the loudest that you think people may gravitate to more so than anything else?
Yeah, probably the first joint called Cold Blood. That's when I was breaking down all the shit that I was going through. The beat is crazy. It's just a certain energy. When it's the first song on the project, when you hear it, you're just like, God damn, like it's one of those ones, man. You know what I'm saying? And then gradually after that, you know, it kind of balances out. And then there's another one. I think it's the last song on the project called Closure. And it's basically saying, look, y'all, like, I ain't gonna be rapping forever. You better appreciate what I'm doing now. Cause at some point there won't be another album. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
Like that's just life. I'm not gonna be the 80-year-old dude, you know. They gotta roll me up to the damn mic and shit. We just need 2 more bars, sir. 2 more bars out of here.
2 more bars. You had that whole 16 you've been working on for the last 5 years.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't with a fucking oxygen tank on the shit. Sir, can I get a drop? This is superstition. Like, man, dog, you got your fam. Like, so I'm just letting cats know, like I told you, I'm in my old man Logan years, man. I'm cleaning out the vaults, man, the catalog. I got a lot of music, man, but I'm trying to do other shit in life, bro. Like my life outside of music, my life is fucking wonderful. You know what I'm saying? Like Kanye West said, but then my life is dope. Like, you know.
Man, I'm glad to hear that, bro. You know, it was I mean, we ain't got to go too crazy into nothing, but like I know when we was younger, coming through the pipeline, bro, like, it was a lot of times where shit just was not good. You know what I'm saying?
And, yeah, both of us, bro.
Yeah, That's why when I get an opportunity to tell you, I tell you, hey, bro, I'm proud of you, man, because I know what you've been through, and I know
appreciate it. Likewise, man.
Went a whole different way. It could have went a whole
different way. Exactly. Yeah, man. Appreciate it. Likewise, man. I know we've seen the best and the worst of these situations. We rock shows together where we got money. We rock shows together where we got paid in hand claps.
You feel me?
You know what I'm saying? We drove out to I think that shit was Charleston, and like the little truck. I think my father-in-law's little truck, the green truck or whatever. We go out there, it'd be like a few people and shit like that, bro. So I've seen the big crowds. I've seen I'll be rapping for the sound man and sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, I just appreciate it, bro.
I think we was on our way to that show in Tennessee when we found out. Was that when Dilla died?
I was just thinking about that on his birthday.
Yeah.
And somebody was like, where were you when Dilla died? And we was driving to Tennessee and it was snowing. We were in the mountains and somebody hit me and I was like, yo, man, Dilla died. And you like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. And it was quiet as fuck, man. We just like, yo, like, how do we process this? This shit is crazy,
exactly.
Man. Yeah, man.
That was crazy, bro. So I mean, as far as like more recently hatched artists, like is there anybody that's come out in the last few years that you kind of like yeah, I fuck with that person, or I think their music's kind of dope. They think we all old grumpy niggas. So I mean, but is there anybody who just fuck with them?
Shit, there are a couple of them that I really fuck with. I mean, I like the Coast Contra cats too. I love their energy. I love their energy. They got energy like how we had energy.
Yeah.
Back then. You know what I'm saying? You could tell they cut from a certain cloth. As far as, man, I'm trying to figure out who else, man. I feel like I'm missing a bunch of people, man. There are a lot of artists though. There are definitely a lot of cats, man. I pay attention probably to more producers than I do artists, but I know there's plenty of them out there, man.
So who the producers you checking for right now? Because you probably getting ready to say some names, and I'm gonna be like, I have no idea who that is. I probably heard of 20,000 beats they done, and I don't even know it's them. But
yeah, like of course, my man Praise, Trox is real dope. Trox is crazy. My man Stolen Drums. He, I used to live right up the street from Stolen Drums. He does different. He's got a different type of vibe or whatever. I know people try to say it's like lo-fi or whatever, but no, this nigga makes all type of beats, man. A lot of different cats. Man, I try to post them and share their music as much as possible, but yeah, there's so many fucking producers out there. I got put on to a bunch of them too because my man Slop Funk Dust, he was doing this thing called Session In, and it was like a Zoom call with like 30 producers, man, and we hop online and you would just hear like these dudes I ain't never heard before, and they just like, oh, these niggas is heavyweights, man. So it's really dope. I always pay attention to production. No matter how old I get or what I'm doing, like I'm always checking for producers. Now I don't work with a lot of producers, but you know what I'm saying? I like doing shit myself, man. Like I would love to work with people, but to be cats personalities, man.
Man, yes, I feel you on that. And that's like a lot of what you're saying is the reason why. I mean, I'm still a part of Fallen Angels, a part of the Nobodies, but yeah. Like as of right now, until everybody's on the same type of time, none of that can move forward. So that's why it just excuse me in Seven Da Pantha shit. But like, if there was just to get off of music for just a second, and I'm definitely looking forward to the project. I cannot wait to fucking Tuesday. Appreciate what it is. So I cannot wait to Tuesday. But are you still heavy into sports like you used to be? I know a lot of people that I know that we used to talk sports when we were younger. They kind of like, man, I don't even watch that shit no more, really. But like,
I'm basketball head, man. I watch football. I watch a little bit of football, basketball, college basketball, NBA basketball. Like I love, just NBA basketball or whatever, man. Because we come from the days of NBA Live, and this is before 2K. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like shit, yeah, man. I actually play fantasy basketball, all that shit, man. Like I'm all about basketball, and it's crazy because I always meet like a basketball head, and they just be like, they would pick up on the line, and like they be like, "Yo, you saying like Jock Vaughn's season average?" And I'm like, "Damn, I know I'm old now because that nigga's a coach now." Like, you feel me? He got us in the NBA. This nigga had 2 points. It's crazy.
Now that nigga got a job coaching.
Yeah, man.
Yo, that's,
And I think
man.
I was talking to somebody from I think they was from Seattle, and I had said something about what did I say? Something windbreaker, trying not to blow my future like Vin Baker or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And they was like, yo, how do you know Vin Baker? I'm like, I was a basketball head, dog. I knew all of them. And even if I didn't see him in the actual game, I knew about them in NBA Live or NBA 2K. So
No doubt. Oh
yeah.
yeah, man. Everybody listening, watching, whatever you may be doing. We was playing ball one day in Winston. And I used to call Swoop David Stoudemire because he was short and light skin. We used to have some.
That's funny, man. Yeah. Cass is yeah, Damon Stoudemire. I remember that, man.
Yo, what's the name of that? The name of that place we was at in Rocky Mount. The first time we actually met in person. Remember the Nobodies? We was doing a show at KRS-One.
You did the show with KRS-Ones.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of that spot. I know exactly what you're talking about too, man.
That's it. It's the spot.
That's it is. Okay. Yeah.
Oh man, that was a wild night,
man. Yo, that was a wild night, man.
They broke there was so there's like this thing around the stage, this little fence-ish thing around the stage. And like when KRS-One started rocking, they started shaking that bitch.
Yeah, man. It was pandemonium in that mode, man.
Yo, bro,
it's a small club, man. I remember that y'all was touring. The Nobodies was touring with KRS, man.
Yeah, that was fun. That was big fun. I learned a lot on that tour, man.
Yeah.
What's been your best, probably your best experience live performing? Because I know you've done some pretty big shows, but like sometimes the biggest show ain't the best one. So like, what's been your best?
Yeah, I think probably, man, it will have to be like the if I look at the overseas one, that I did one in Helsinki, Finland. I think that was the best show, one of the best shows, because I didn't expect it. They had me booked, but it was also their, I guess like their, kind of like how we would have like a URL smack battle. They had, not in that same format, but they had this annual MC battle. And they told me, yeah, you'll be performing at the MC battle. So, I'm thinking open mic type of, but I knew they paid me well. And I get there and it's like 3,000 people in this place and they're going crazy. I mean, they're filming it and everything. So it's like, I remember the, this is how I knew it. I should have known it was going to be crazy. The promoter picked me up from the hotel to go. Well, we did the sound check. There's nobody there or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I go to the hotel for a couple hours and come back. The promoter picks me up at the hotel. He's like, I'm going to give you this money now because you may not see me later. Like, what is he about to do?
It's about to get crazy.
I didn't put two and two together. We drive up to the venue. I mean, I'm like, yo, the line is wrapped around the building. And sure enough, I didn't see him no more that night. It was almost like a festival. It was like an indoor festival. It was just so many people in there, man.
Wow.
So that was a really dope one. I did a show with Blueprint and RJD2 in Boston at the Middle East. And that was crazy too. Just the energy. I go off of just energy and how crowds respond and stuff like that. Back in NC, man, I think some of my best shows were in NC at that time, man, when it wasn't a lot of people there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it was a small group of people, but you rhyming, they catching every punchline, or you could just literally, you could record a song the day before and go out and perform it and then still rock with it. You know what I'm saying? Like those years and stuff, man. So yeah, man, it's a bunch of shows, man. Some of the album release parties I've done too have been really dope.
I know that.
It's crazy. One of the best shows, I think. Somebody hit me up and was like, "Hey, I remember this. I'm still friends with them now. This girl Stephanie hit me up and said, "Hey, my boyfriend is a huge Supastition fan. I'm like a diehard Supastition fan." She was like, "This may sound corny, but we're throwing him a huge birthday party at the club. And how much would you charge to perform?" And I'm like, "This is weird. Like, first of all, like, I give them a price. They take the first price. I'm like, shit, I should charge more. But I go there. It's like him and his family, and they're like, perform whatever you want. Like, whatever you want. And so I'm performing, and I was like, yo, you're a Supastition fan. Like, what do you want to hear? And they would call out certain songs, and I would just perform it, like joints that are like B-sides. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it joints that people kind of skip over. If I had the instrumental for it, I would just perform. And it was a really dope show, like a dope, intimate show. Family took care of me and all of that, man. So it's been some great experiences, man.
That's lit. Oh, yeah. Man, that is crazy. That is odd, though. Be like, yo.
Great, I kind of feel like a stripper at some points, too. I'm just like, they're like, shake it, nigga. Like, I look at the positive and the negative of this shit. Like, this is dope, but this could go left real quick, man. Real
fast. Oh, man. So I know you dropping every last word, and are you gonna drop? I'm pretty sure it's only February, so I'm pretty sure the follow-up will also drop this year. How many projects are you looking at dropping this year?
So it should be a total of 3. So these 2 projects, like I said, are intertwined. The second one will drop in the summertime, and then towards the end of the year, I'm dropping another project or whatever, man. And that'll be at the end of the year. That's already done and completed and stuff like that. So it's you know.
Now I know
people are gonna think like, damn, he's been working. It's not. I've just been sitting on all this music. I have been building up the arsenal.
He said I cheated. Don't worry about it.
Cool. Exactly, man.
Hey, so now I know you said you weren't planning to do it. But I know, are there any, not necessarily a tour, but will you be performing at all in association with these projects?
I probably will. I'll probably do some one-off shows. I had a couple people hit me up as far as just interested in doing it. I won't do a tour. I'll never do another tour again, man. I hate touring, man. I loved it when I was in my 20s. Yes. Man, bro. I try to explain to people. I think I was talking to somebody, I was telling them, look, I lose more going on tour. For one, I'm not going to be at my job, which pays well. I don't get sex on demand. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get home cooked meals. I don't want to sleep in no bummy ass hotel. You know what I'm saying? Like, I be telling cats I go on tour, I sleep in worse hotels than I would if I went on vacation with the family. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm almost got to downgrade and be a broke rapper to go on tour again. You know what I'm saying? So, but now, I mean, I'll do some shows here and there and stuff like that. But yeah, as far as touring, man, I'm a stay-at-home rapper, dog. That's what I do.
You know what the funny thing about you saying that is, you said, y'all stay-at-home rappers and bedroom producers.
Yeah. Yep. Sure enough, that's what I became. I am a stay-at-home rapper. I do everything from the comfort of my own home. If I want to perform, hell, I'll plug this video camera up and we'll do a live show right in here. I'm not going to Oshkosh, Wisconsin to perform for 10 motherfuckers, man. I'm not gonna do it, man.
That is hilarious. And you talking about hotel rooms. Remember that hotel room in Philly?
Oh yeah. Oh man.
That shit was so fire. Oh, I can't remember what hotel that was.
Yeah, I know exactly what you talk about. But at Beachside, we was like, damn, am I worthy of this shit?
That's like, I don't even want to leave.
Yeah. Because every time I think about doing a show, I think about 20 people in front of me like this.
Yes. Yes.
Just like, man. Like, let's just rock, man. This shit is different, man.
Oh yeah, it's a different era. And I mean, I guess, I think that a lot of what we older artists view as the weakening of the genre overall comes from oversaturation. Now, mind you, there was a lot of rappers in the 90s too. And I'm not saying I've always told people, we're not saying that wasn't the case then, but we didn't have to hear all of it. There's people whose names you can tell me now that had an album out in 99 that might have been a hit in the Midwest, but I never heard of it. You know what I'm saying? So do you feel like, do you agree with that? Like maybe the ease of being able to put music out now kind of taints the whole situation. It's not even, remember when we was young, we used to walk in the room like, I rap. Niggas be like, what? Hear something.
Yeah.
But now it's like, yeah, so do I. And so do they. All of them.
Yeah, the fact that you can release music so quickly makes it different in how, there were a lot of rappers out in the 90s, but if you were completely ass, it wouldn't make it to our ears. There's no way. Unless you had some money behind you. But for the most part, you wouldn't hear it. Now you put it online, it's instant ass. I can go on SoundCloud right now. Immediately. There's no filter. Like somebody can record right now, upload it. Nobody else has listened to it, and it's right there for the world to hear or whatever, which is great in a sense for those people who are truly talented because you get to discover some great artists.
Right.
But trying to find good music is like trying to find something good at TJ Maxx or Ross. It's just everywhere, dog. You got to sift through it. It's like, man, that shit takes patience. It really does, man. And you know, and there's no learning curve. Before, it used to be a learning curve. I rapped for damn near 6 years before anybody knew because I was scared to just be terrible. So now it's like cats will learn to rap while they're making their first songs. We had years of rapping without even recording the song. We just had rhymes.
Real
you
talk.
know what I'm saying? Producers just had beats. They didn't have nobody to rap over that shit. You know what I'm saying? DJs just practice in their bedroom. They didn't just get a set of turntables and show up at a party. Like it was a learning curve to it. Now there's no learning curve whatsoever. Like if I got beats, rhymes, if I DJ, I can log right on live. Hey guys, my first DJ set, check it out. You know what I'm saying? My first beats.
Bruh.
Problem with that is that imagine if your first song you ever recorded came out. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's why you shouldn't be so quick to throw all your stuff out there until you really feel confident in it. So
thanks. Like, you know, Hood sent me all of the shit we recorded at WSSU. And I was listening to that shit and I was like, I'm so glad that I did not have the capacity to put this out when we did this, because I would have done it and I would have been so mad at myself later on. But
we used to be mad too, like, man, niggas is sleeping on me. Niggas is sleeping on, like, yo, man, we weren't good at that time. Like, that's really what it was. We weren't as good as we thought we were at that time.
Exactly.
Like you couldn't tell me back when I was like Gemini, like, you know, my rap name was Gemini. Or, you know, I just thought I was the illest dude. And then we're playing for people and they're just like, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we was just better than the people that was around us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like if we were in a small town, we might've been the best rapper in the town. That does not mean that you're one of the illest cats on the planet, because there's a whole nation of dope niggas.
Bruh. And I think what began exposing that to me, I think, was probably right around, I don't want to say when Fables came out because it was after that. It was probably more like when Now Culture came out around 03, right before I dropped my first solo project. It was like, man, like this group dynamic works. I mean, we make good music together and people like it, but like when you start to compare what else is out there, like to a bunch of stuff that we didn't know existed. So now that we know it exists, now we have to compare, not necessarily compare ourselves, but that is the challenge now. It's not being the best person in this room or being the best person in this town. It's trying to be the best person in this wide galaxy of artists that exists.
Right. And the conflict comes because you can be working with people that are dope, but they don't listen to what else is out there. You know what I'm saying? Like you can have a producer who he may know Premier and Pete Rock, but he doesn't know like the dope cats that are on our level that are incredibly dope. Right. So it's like you're missing what's out there. They're in their heads, they're thinking this is the greatest thing I've ever made. But in comparison, it doesn't compare to what other people have done. That's why, you know, we're artists. That's why you got to get out. You got to travel. Or, you know, even now you don't even have to travel. You just have to listen to other things at other places to see what else is out there. Because right now, it's, you know, the playing field is leveled right now. But yeah, back in the day, with 7 years of bad luck, that's why I didn't use a lot of those producers going forward. Now, E Hood just stopped producing for a while. So I didn't work with E Hood for a while. But a lot of them, you know what I'm saying? It's just like they're telling me, hey, this is my best beats. But when you compare that next to like an M Phases or Ill Mind or Jake One, dog, like this not even in the same league. You know what I mean? So it was kind of my way to tell cats, yo, you got to step it up, because you put these projects out and you might work with all your homies. But then if your name is, if you put out Seven Da Pantha project and the production is terrible, they're going to look at you like you picked this to rap over. You know what I'm saying? This could be all you ever had to rap to.
Oh, believe me, they've done it to me. They've done it to me. Like, hey, bro, that's what you're doing? I'm like, bro, listen, unless you're going to give me a beat, shut up. I don't want to hear it.
Right. Exactly.
But I will say this, and I can honestly say you Apostle AP, and probably E-Hood. Y'all are the three that kind of was like, hey man, you know, you probably need better beats. Like, you rap really good, but you need better beats. And I was like, and then like watching you progress through the beats and selecting beats the way you do, and then watching AP be meticulous with choosing beats, and then just remembering what it was like working with Hood in that dorm room and watching him put the beat together. I was like, man, you know what? Maybe I'm asleep at the wheel here. Let me stop what I'm doing and pay attention to what I'm listening to.
Right. Yeah, you know what? From that,
you set a bar.
From that, like when you're a MC, like the type of MCs that we are, a lot of times our flow and our lyrics kind of control the song or whatever. So, perfect example, and you and I both know we were big Cannabis fans.
Yes.
Like, you have to have production that is up to the same standard as the lyrics. Like, you know what I'm saying? Razzcast Soul on Ice. I love that album, but the production, Raz is way too nice for that production. You know what I'm saying? Cannabis was way too good for that production. Like, that might work for like pedestrian rappers. It's like real mediocre, or rappers that really just follow the melody of the beat. We don't necessarily follow the melody of the beat. We're getting on the track, we're going to murder it. So we need the best soundtrack behind us or whatever. But yeah, I remember I used to tell you that. I'm like, yo, like, this is good, but this is not up to your level. I'm like, I hope he understands what I'm saying, but it's like, these beats are good for a local nigga. Like, you're not at the local level. You know what I'm saying? Like playing NBA 2K, like, you can't be playing on rookie level. You got to play on all-star level, dog. Like, like, you're way too good. Like, you playing on rookie level and you're beating the computer 120 to 30. Like, no, you got to be on an all-star level. It's all got to even out. Like, you know what I mean? And that's what I learned. Like, you got to have the type of production to match your skill level, you know?
Absolutely. So, I mean, I ain't gonna keep too much longer, man. I definitely appreciate you coming on. I was saying you set a bar. Brothers like you, Pantha, even I think Median, like just lyrically, a lot of people that came out in our era set a bar. And what I'm noticing now is that I'm happy to see some of these younger guys that are coming through the pipeline in North Carolina, especially that are reaching for that bar and that want to reach for it and pass that. It was a long time in our run that I felt like, man, look, this group of MCs right here, that the names I was just saying, plus, you know, like me and AP and Knox and all of us, I was just like, yo, they can't do it better than this. Like, this is crazy. Because that era was so poignant. It was so powerful and so important to the evolution of North Carolina hip hop. So thank you for your contributions, bro. I'm glad I got to get off part of the ride. Like, it's been a great experience, bro.
An analogy somebody told me, when, you know, to go back to that, like when we was doing music, we was thinking like, yo, it can't get no better than what we're doing, right? The analogy somebody broke it down to me is like, yo, back in the day, there was a man and he was like, yo, I'm gonna run a mile. And these people were like, it's not humanly possible to run a mile. That was us trying to be North Carolina rappers, right? He comes along, runs a mile. Everybody's like, oh shit, he ran a mile, right? So now he's inspired other people. Now everybody's running a fucking mile. Now somebody comes along, runs 2 miles. Somebody comes along, runs 5 miles. Somebody comes along, runs across the fucking country, right? The thing is, the man who ran that first mile will probably never get the credit. You know what I'm saying? Only to the people that were there. The people that's going to get the credit is the people that ran the furthest in the shortest amount of time, a lot of times. So we made it possible for these people because a lot of them looked at us and said, well, if I can make it to their level, I think I can make it further than that. You know what I'm saying? We showed that it was possible to even reach a level. So all of it matters. A lot of times cats will they do a lot of revisionist history and try to act like you don't exist or you didn't contribute, or you got certain cats that they become big and they won't mention you. Even though when they were coming up, they're like, yo, I'm so inspired by you. So they'll try to rewrite the story. So a lot of times you just contribute to the culture and the scene and do what you have to do. Real people know. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll always remember your contributions and stuff like that, man. But I'm glad to see cats have gone further with it. It makes me almost feel like at this point, like I could step away from this because I just wanted people to know that North Carolina has some dope rappers. That was my main thing. I just wanted people to respect our area as hip hop heads. You know what I'm saying? Like we had access to the same shit. We didn't have the parties, but we had Rap City, we had record stores, we had tapes that came down from New York. We had access to all of this, and people thought like we were just country. I think we were all on the same boat when we're like, yo, this North Kakalaka shit is garbage. Like we not farmers. We don't say none of that shit. Like we never embraced that. We were like one of the few people that was like, yo, don't call that shit North Kakalaka. Like, first of all, somebody from another state can't give your state a name. I can't just be like, yo, New Yakety Yak. Like, them niggas not gonna embrace that. You know what I'm saying? So we was always different. We always looked at it different. But yeah, at the end, I just wanted people to respect North Carolina as a culture. And we got some of the best rappers, producers, DJs, artists. You know, we already know about soul music and R&B and shit like that, man. Like we got all that, man.
Absolutely. So for the people listening who may not have known you beforehand, tell them how they can find you online, where they can find your music and all that stuff.
You can follow me at, you can check my website, Supastition, Supastition.com. You got me on Instagram at Supastition, on Twitter at Supastition_NC. I think some random nigga got my name when I stepped away from music, but you can follow me on all that, or, you know, Google is your friend. Just Google Supastition. Just remember SUPA, and I'm out there, man. You know, you come across my music, man, hopefully.
Absolutely. I hope they do. Most of the people that tune into the pod, some of them are just podcast listeners and they like to listen, but a large number of them are hip hop heads. So for those of y'all who were unfamiliar with them before, get familiar with Supastition. Go back and check the entire catalog. I promise you, you will thank your ears for taking that in. Bro, thank you so much for your time, man. Hopefully I'll get to see you soon. I'll be out there soon. We setting up the dates now to come out there. I got 2 festivals I got to do out there. So in between that, I'll be doing some other shows. I definitely want to catch up with you. Tell the family I say hello, man.
Most deaf, man. Likewise, bro. It's good talking to you, man.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Y'all already know what it is. Pantha Politix Podcast. Supastition in the building. Y'all stay up, y'all. One.
Peace.